We're just only 4 months into 2024, and this year has already given us some great and highly anticipated titles like Helldivers 2, Dragon Dogmas 2, and even Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But with so much time left in the year, there are still so many games to look forward to, and today we'll be taking a look at some that you should keep top of mind when you're looking for a new experience. Be sure to let me know what games you're looking forward to the most for this year, and leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. We're very close to 100 subscribers, so let's try to reach that by the end of the month. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Here we have a game that I just recently learned about myself, and one that is actually seeming to impress people, and this game is Stellar Blade. Now, this is a third-person game where the combat is all about anticipating your opponent's attacks and timing your counterattacks perfectly. This game is often compared to those like Devil May Cry and the Bayonetta series, but you can actually try it out for yourself now as the game has a demo that just released. Following a futile battle against alien invaders known as the Natives, humanity is expelled from Earth. Eve and her group are sent from the colony to fight the Natives and retake Earth in order to recover their lost home. Eve eventually makes an acquaintance out of Adam, who's a survivor, who shows her the way to Zion, which is the last city inhabited by humans. To further her goal of saving humanity and reclaiming Earth, Eve gets in touch with an elder oracle and builds relationships with the people of Zion. So, now that we have a little bit of an idea on the story and gameplay, let's circle back to the combat. Combat parrying and evading fills Eve's beta gauge. Using skills like piercing super armor and interrupting enemy combos requires using this beta gauge, and in addition, Eve possesses a burst gauge that she can fill with consecutive parries and combos to unleash strong attacks and buffs. The game also provides haptic feedback on weapon accuracy and enemy attacks via the PS5 DualSense controller, and I'm just so happy that it's a given that most of these games now are going to be taking advantage of these DualSense features now. During exploration, you can traverse the environment by wall scaling and swinging on ropes. Additional costumes can be discovered for customization, and NPCs in the overworld can offer you side missions. This is a PS5 exclusive releasing on April 26, so you do have time to give the demo a try and see if this is a game that you want to pick up. Next up, we have a sequel to a popular game that came out of nowhere back in 2017, Senua's Saga Hellblade II. Like its predecessor, Hellblade 2 is a third-person action-adventure game developed once again by Ninja Theory. The team has gone on to state that the combat has been updated in Hellblade 2, although we aren't sure in what ways yet, but it is something to keep in mind looking at this game's evolution from the first entry in the series. Even though Hellblade 2 seems to be an equally story-driven game, Senua's more constrained fighting features might still use some improvement. Combat designer Juan Fernandez clarified that Ninja Theory was raising the bar for Hellblade 2 combat. He also pointed out that less than 20 people worked on the first game's development, and Ninja Theory significantly increased its production efforts for the follow-up, and as a result, we can anticipate more complex combat and a wider variety of enemies in this game. Ninja Theory also revealed more details about the plot of Hellblade 2, calling Senua a beacon of hope. Senua, who at the end of Hellblade 1 had conquered her personal demons, she sets out in the sequel to face the Viking marauders on their home ground in Iceland. She now views her condition as an ally in the war of revenge as opposed to a curse. With the skull of her lover Dylan at her disposal, Hellblade 1 presented us with a very different Senua, one who is determined to take back his soul from Helheim and the goddess Hela. The game shows us glimpses into Senua's past, her relationships with her parents, her psychological problems, and the destruction of her village by Norse raiders. Senua's acceptance of her condition and her identity at the climax sets the stage for her adventures in Hellblade 2, where she learns to collaborate with the voices in her head rather than fight against them. Graphically, this game is going to look amazing. The first one, back on the last generation of consoles, looked really good, and now that Hellblade 2 is built on Unreal 5 and we have this extra power of these next generation consoles and PCs, we might see some new technologies at play. And according to the founder of Ninja Theory, Hellblade 1 is going to look like an indie game compared to Hellblade 2, which is quite the statement right there, but there might not be any reason to doubt this. The lighting and audio design are amazing, the landscapes appear to be incredibly detailed, and Ninja Theory's progress towards photorealism with Senua's updated character model being at the forefront is something to take note of. If you're looking forward to this game, you won't have to wait much longer because Senua Saga Hellblade 2 is coming out May 21st on Xbox and PC. No PS5 version for now, but who knows with the way things are going with Microsoft. This may not be a brand new game release per se, but I do think we can agree that a DLC to the biggest game release of this decade so far warrants a spot on this list. The long-awaited Shadow of the Erdtree DLC for 2021 smash hit Elden Ring is set to come out this year. The site gives us information detailing that players are beckoned to the Land of the Shadow, a place obscured by the Erdtree where the goddess Marika first set foot, guided by the Empyrean Miquella. In these strange new lands, players discover the dark secrets of the world as they meet others who follow in Miquella's footsteps with ulterior motives. The Land of the Shadow is a completely new world in Elden Ring, and it's said that this DLC world is about the same size as Limgrave, which is about the starting area of the main game, and I'd say that's fairly expansive. Players can seamlessly travel back and forth between these vast maps interspread with diverse situations and meticulous dungeons where facing menacing enemies roam. The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC also adds new weapons, equipment, weapon skills, and magic that is not found in the base game of Elden Ring, alongside new enemies, boss encounters, plot lines that further increase a player's RPG freedom. Me personally, I was not opposed to the Elden Ring hype when it first came out, although I did eventually hit a wall and tapped out. I will beat it one day, and when I do, I'll definitely be picking this DLC once I'm back into the full swing of the game. Shadow of the Erdtree drops June 20th on PC and the current and last generations of consoles, so let me know if we'll be picking it up day one. Now this is a game I felt like I've been hearing about forever, but Black Myth Wukong is finally releasing this year and has been one of those more talked about games since its initial reveal in 2020. For those who are unfamiliar with the story, Journey to the West is a Chinese tale that's very well known and popular and has given inspiration to many video game creators, manga artists, and anime creators. Sun Wukong is a very popular character, and he's been featured in games such as MOBAs like Smite, League of Legends, and Dota 2. And if you're familiar with Akira Toriyama, respect to him, rest in peace to him, and his creation of Dragon Ball, like Son Goku and the anime and manga actually originated as a loose adaptation of Journey to the West. And while the Monkey King has appeared in single-player games before, like Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, Black Myth Wukong is the first big-budget AAA Souls-like games where players can take control of the superhero like Simeon. The combat is what really stands out in this title. It's very Souls-esque with a lot of parrying, dodging, collectible weaponry, and difficult boss battles. And the identity of the playable monkey may still be a mystery, but many of Sun Wukong's amazing skills from Journey to the West appear to be present and explained. Amongst these skills are the extending staff, the ability to create clones, having your own cloud and having the ability to fly on it like the flying Nimbus from Dragon Ball, if you all remember that, the ability to shapeshift, and also the ability to freeze time. If you're looking for a game that will provide you with a challenge with a bunch of unique systems and stories that follows a classic tale, Black Myth Wukong might just be the game for you, and it releases August 20th on Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC. And last but not least, a game that I don't hear talked about often but still deserving of your eyes is a city builder / survival game, Frostpunk 2. 30 years have passed since the first Frostpunk's catastrophic blizzard. This is when the game takes place. The harsh, icy climate and never-ending frost continue to overwhelm Earth, and as the leader of this resource-hungry metropolis, you must deal with the inevitable internal strife and growth. You must also decide what to do in your city's future and accept the consequences of your choices. You can construct your city on a new scale in Frostpunk 2 by establishing entire districts with distinct functions and ensure that the city functions as a whole and conduct research on technologies that will determine the path for advancement for your citizens. The primary function is that you can no longer independently enact laws in Frostpunk 2. You are still the head of the settlement you are creating, the person in charge, but in order to pass laws, you will now need members or factions of parties within your settlement to agree. The game runs on Unreal 5 and looks extremely detailed, and I recommend you all keep an eye out for this one. And there's a lot of interest and nuances, and I'm gonna get back to the first one honestly. And if you haven't played it, I'm sure the next sale opportunity will be a good chance to see if this is a series you want to get into. You can look forward to playing Frostpunk 2 when it releases on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X on July 25th. While that is the end of our main list, I do have some honorable mentions for games to keep an eye out for later this year. For those on PC, I do think you can look forward to the director's cut of Ghost of Tsushima to release. In my most recent video, I talked about that game and how it was a really great experience, and that's coming out May 16th. I also think Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is worth your consideration as well. It looks amazing graphically, and there's a lot of excitement around this game, especially following its recent delays. Stalker 2 drops on PC and Xbox Series X on September 5th. And I'm also hoping that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero will make it this year. Each time they show this game, the gameplay just looks better and better, so I have real high hopes for this game whenever it releases. Even if you're not into anime fighting games, this is a callback to the classic iconic Budokai Tenkaichi series, which saw its real end back in like the PS2 era, so fingers crossed that this lives up to all the hype. But that's going to end off this video, everyone. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below what games you're looking forward to the most releasing this year, or even further down the line. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. We're really trying to grow, very close to 100 subscribers now. I do various gaming videos like this on the channel, and I'm sure you enjoy what's in store. Stay safe, everybody. Peace.